So you're interested in entrepreneurship, but you're not sure how to actually make a startup or have an idea. We got you covered. Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Ingram, FastForward U's Marketing Coordinator at Johns Hopkins University, and today's video is going to be about how to come up with a business idea. And this is inspired by the Johns Hopkins University students that we come across at FastForward U who are interested in entrepreneurship and innovation and the startup space, but have no idea how to get their foot in the door because they do not have a business, they don't have a startup idea, they don't have a product idea, but they do want to create one eventually. So here are my top 5 tips on what I think you should do in order to kind of come up with some type of business idea that will not only be something that you like, but will also be marketable and possibly the next big thing. But before we get into everything, make sure that you subscribe to FastForward U's YouTube. I'm watching you. Hit the button. All right, now we can go. Tip number 1 is to find what you are passionate about. Usually the people who are the best at their jobs, not just entrepreneurs, but in general, are people who like what they're doing. So I recommend if you're going to spend a lot of time on your startup, because entrepreneurship means you're giving up a lot of your time, I recommend finding something that you're really passionate about or an industry that you're passionate about, something you might even already have a strong background knowledge in by happenstance. Try and stick with that industry. Step number 2 is probably one of the most important steps at coming up with any idea for a startup, and it is to focus on problems, not just solutions. A lot of the time, startups that fail because someone thinks of an idea and they're like, this would be such a cool idea if this existed, and then they just run with it, not even thinking to research whether or not other people think the idea is cool or if the idea is even needed. If people do not want your idea, they don't want your product, your service, your startup, then nothing else matters, even if you really want it. So once you pick your industry, try to find common problems that lie in that industry that people face without thinking about how to solve them just yet. Just find problems, write them down, create your master list of problems in your industry, because that will start to lead you in the right direction. And as you continue your startup journey, always keep this lookout for problems in the forefront of your mind, because that is going to help you sustain your startup. Step number 3 is now researching solutions that already exist. So we're still not creating solutions yet. In order to create a good marketable idea, again, you have to make sure that there's a problem you're solving, that people actually want you to solve, that need the solution, and that want your specific solution. But how do we get there? Research. Once you have solidified some problems, you want to start looking at all of the different solutions, all of the different businesses and startups that already exist that are trying to solve that same problem, and really analyze what they're doing, what their product or service is to solve that problem, and all the little different bits and parts of this. This will help you to formulate the later steps of creating your startup. Step number 4 is to talk to people. Another mistake that early stage startups make is that they make assumptions without actually having people behind the ideas that they have. So you want to make sure to do your customer discovery. Start going out and talk to people without having a product, a service, or a startup to present to them. Just go out and ask them about the industry and the problems that you have found in those industries, and kind of get an idea of where people are at. And when you're doing these conversations, make sure that you ask open-ended questions and that you don't try and lead these people to your ideal solution or even to listing the same problems you have on your list. Talking to these people, you might realize that half of the problems on your list aren't really that big of problems, or that you're missing some, or that some on your list are really huge patterns and problems. So talking to people will really put you in the right direction of what exact problems on that list to really focus on. Step number 5, my last tip, is to know what you don't know. So you have all of this research now, you can see problems that really exist, you can see what people really do start to want, and this can start to help guide you in formulating your solution. But the last step in doing so is to try and come up with a list of things that you still don't know in order to know who you need to work with to get your startup going. All these steps will take time, so don't think that you can do these in like 5 minutes, because that is completely impossible. But these are just 5 starting steps to get you in the right direction. There's definitely more different things that you can do in between these steps alongside these steps to put you in a better place as an entrepreneur. And if you're interested in knowing those things, then make sure that you're subscribed to our channel for future tip videos, as well as check out our other socials and our newsletter. And if you're a Johns Hopkins University student, feel free to swing by FastForward U, send us an email, or sign up for any of our programming and workshops and events coming up, so that way you can learn more about entrepreneurship and how to start your journey and get your journey going in the right direction. But that's it for all of my tips for how to come up with some type of business idea. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And with all that being said, we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye guys.